Hello everyone, welcome to Selangor Human Resource Development Center or SHRDC in short. What you guys are about to see next are a series of webinar sessions on various topics that we at SHRDC previously organized. We hope you will be able to enjoy and learn a couple of things from this webinar session today.
Hello, good morning everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar today. The topic for today is Roadmap for Specialists to People's Managers. Maresa is a founder and also the CEO of the Spark Group Asia, who is going to talk about Roadmap from Specialists to People's Manager under our Resilient Leadership webinar series today. Maresa is a well-known advocate for leaders, entrepreneurs, and business owners who are in the business and want to have a great life. See her hashtag, Great Business, Great Life. Being a coach and a guardian for many businesses, Maresa has insight to how businesses succeed and also fail. And she has also played a significant role in turning around many businesses. Some of her clients deemed Maresa as a secret weapon and has been crucial in turning point of their businesses. Over to you, Maresa.
Thank you so much, Muniz, and a very thank you to SHRDC for having me for the second series of the Resilient Leadership series. Gang, very good morning to everybody. Can you hear me loud and clear? If you can, say yes, say hello, say good morning, say ohayo gozaimasu. Just so that I know that you can hear me loud and clear, because there's tons of amazing stuff coming your way. I just want to make sure that connection is good. Atika, Hasna, Jamil, good morning. Jaya, Vanti, Zamzuri, Yeza, Rosmaria, Effie, oh my God, Faiz, ohayo gozaimasu. Mustafa, Rusdiana, Cairo, oh my gosh, Sawadee. Thank you, YM Lim. Oh my gosh, if you can come up with many different ways to say good morning, please do that. Sawadee krap. All right, Nazrul, good morning. All right, gang, how many of us are ready to rock and roll? Say yeah. Oh my gosh. GM, apa tu? Finally, you are all about abbreviations, aren't you? Very well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, today is an amazing session that I have for you. So I really want to make sure that you get the most out of today. So ladies and gentlemen, know that I'm going to share tons of stuff. So have your notebooks ready. And please chat me up as much as you want inside the chat box, because I'm reading everything. I will be answering questions as I go along, but some questions I will get to at the end during the Q&A. All right. So today's session is a very important session, because the Resilience Leadership series, especially today, all right, for those of you who were here, the earlier one, we talked about transformation, we talked about leadership intelligence, and today we're talking about how specialists, subject matter experts, grow from being very good at what they do. Specialists, they know so detailed, so much depth. But now when they transit into managing people, how many of you realize, oh my gosh, susahnya? How many of you love managing people? Say yeah. How many of you love leading a team? Say yeah. But it comes with its challenges. How many of you know what I mean? Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is, thank you, Jayavanti, seeing you raise your hand. All right, very good. Now, this is even more so an important topic, because leaders, entrepreneurs, executives in this room, we have gone into a virtual culture. Now, how many of you also know that poses challenges in how we manage and lead the team and the business? And that is why we're here today. So it didn't get easier with remote working, where we all work from home. Those days, it's easy to manage people because we are in the same location, same office. But now, so if I can, what I'm going to share today is how you move. Thank you very much. How you move from being a subject matter expert to a people manager, a leader. Now, before I go into that, just a very quick introduction. Muniz has done a really good introduction, but I think I really want to make sure that you know where we're coming from. We are the Spark Group Asia, and we're a leading business coaching, leadership coaching, and executive coaching authority in Asia. We've got coaches in Malaysia, in Singapore, and Vietnam. And you will see a few of the companies that we're accredited with, some of which some of you might see familiar, the Neurosemantics logo. Neurosemantics is actually a research institute based in Texas under a gentleman called Dr. Michael Hall. And today, a lot of what I'm going to share about raising human potential is going to come from this school. Of course, it's an amalgamation of everything from the Meta Coach Foundation. I'm going to teach you some coaching methodologies as well in the short 45 minutes that I have with you. So guys, peel in. Along with AccuMatch, I won't be talking too much about AccuMatch in this session because I talked about it in the last session. If some of you missed, AccuMatch is a behavior intelligence tool. And with that tool, we get to identify different types of behavior and how to manage those behaviors. So we talked about that in the earlier session. Those of you who missed it, please reach out to SHRDC for a recording and they will be very happy to pass it to you, okay? Now, moving on a little bit about myself. My name is Maresa Ng. Those of you who want to add me on LinkedIn, by all means, just do that. I've got very special spelling, all right? Maresa. Only one person like that with that name on LinkedIn. So please, by all means. My background, 2008, I started this coaching company. But before that, my past life, past life, I was actually an investment and corporate banker. So I studied finance. I did a lot of corporate finance. I listed companies. We raised money for them, debt from 2 million to 20 million to 200 million. But all that was in the banking part of my life. But now I am working with businesses, multinational and SMEs, to help them to take their business further, all in the aspect of getting the best out of their people. Okay, so this is a little bit about myself. Those of you who want to learn more or want to read more, you like books, yeah? And if you're still old school, you like to flip the pages, please, by all means, get 2 of my books. I wrote The Guide to Starting a Business back in 2014. I wrote the second one, Great Business, Great Life. Muniz talked about that earlier. And Great Business, Great Life is about getting more out of your business without your business taking more out of you. All right. So that's why it's not just great business, profit, but great business, great life. That means you also know how to get your time and your freedom to leverage your business even harder. If business works for you instead of you work for the business. All right. So if you're interested in that, guys, please, you can reach out to my office at the Spark Group Asia. I'll share some of the contacts later and you can get those books and I'll sign it for you as well if you get them directly from us. If you are interested as well, I do a lot of free videos. So please, by all means, just go to the Spark Group Asia, our YouTube videos, tons of them. By all means, these are all just special insights to support you, you know, when you are at home and then you don't really know what to do, look into this YouTube channel and you get tons of insights here. Okay, so are you guys ready to rock and roll? All right, ready, say ready. And then we start, all right? Now, those of you who are here, just give me an idea. How many of you are a leader? Okay, so when I say leader, you're working for an organization, all right? And you've probably got 1 or more subordinates. So if you're a leader, just type leader, all right? And how many of you are business owners? Business owner, put BO. Boleh ya? Just put BO. Leader, BO. Confused, also put confused. It's okay. That's all right. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Very good. Jin. Wow. Nice to see you here. Iqlil, leader. Mustafa. BO Jayavanti, very good. Muhammad Zahura, hello. All right. Good morning. Muhammad Adrian. Leader, very good. Leader, very good, gang, very good. Puan Manisa, Fadli, wow, you guys keep it coming. Mahadze, thank you. Zahura, Adlin, good stuff. Edith, business owner, good stuff. Whatever it is that I'm going to share with you today, all relevant, all right? So it's all going to be relevant as we go along. Now, thank you very much, gang. Cairo, leader, MBO, thank you. Now, before we start, a few things that I really want to share with you is this, okay? I'm not a fan of statistics, but I'm a fan when it shows the general population of what is happening in our community of leaders and employees, okay? So The first one that I want to share with you is this. 20% of first-time managers, all right? And if I have some first-time managers inside here learning the ropes, please let me know. That's also fine. 20% of first-time managers are doing a poor job at a poor job according to their subordinates. Now, this is from the survey of Center for Creative Leadership. Just go and Google it. But this means that there is a certain expectation, and a lot of expectation from the subordinates to the managers, where a lot of managers are thrown into the deep end. They don't know how to support their executives, their subordinates, at the same time as managing their own work. Now, this is very, very interesting because 20%, 1/5. Now, 26% of first-time managers feel they were not ready to lead others to begin with. Now, this is very, very interesting because how many of you know that a lot of managers, when they get promoted, they are promoted into a management position because of good work they did. So they were very good executors, because all of us start there. You know, when I was in the banking world as well, I started there. I execute, I do the proposal myself, and then suddenly I've got to guide people, to coach, to propose, to create programs. And then I get stuck. Oh my gosh, how do I do that? And so a lot of first-time managers feel they were not ready. Okay, that's close to 1/3. This is amazing. This is amazing. If any of you are in this space, 60% say they never received any training when they transitioned into their first leadership role. Okay, now this is very, very important because I'm in the midst of finalizing a program. And we have a program that's rolled out for 100 managers in AirAsia, where for 8 weeks, new managers that come into the company or they get promoted, they need to go through 8 weeks of culture, of values, of empathy, of compassion, of communication. Because it's not that easy anymore once you go into that position of managing others. And that's what I'm going to share a lot of today. And so if any of you lack that onboarding program for new managers, please come and talk to us, because we can also develop that with you, for you. Now, the interesting thing is this, all right? This is a typical, any of you experienced this before. This is a very, I've known her for almost 13 years, and she started, this is a very timid, very executive-oriented leader. So she started in, kid you not, film production. For real, she started in film production. So she was the person running for coffee. She was confirming timetables, appointments, you know, booking the studio, blah, 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 blah. So she was doing all that, rushing deadlines until the middle of the night. And when she grew into a management role, she struggled. And you know what she said to me? She said to me, Coach Maresa, because we work with her in a business coaching program and an executive coaching program, she said to me, Coach, do you know that it is so much faster if I do the work myself? Because by the time I communicate what I want to my team, I dah habis benda tu. I finished the work. So by the time I communicate it to them and they understand it, I could have finished it in 2 minutes. What would take them 2 days? How many of you know what I mean? If you understand that, say yes. Because that is a, thank you, way low. Oh my gosh, I can see you guys raising your hands. That's okay. I love it. If you can, Rosemaria, thank you. If you can, oh my gosh, then how do I go beyond the time that I have left? And she struggled. But when we got to the end, and this is the words that she shared with me. Thank you, Mohana. Thank you, Jin. Fizia, yes. Fizia, you're here. Oh my gosh. Atika, thank you. This is a beautiful thing, because when we got to the end of the 10th year of her managing, she became a group general manager. She now manages 50 to 52 people under her wing. She's the second in command to the owner and the CEO of a group of properties. So in that group of properties, there are restaurants, there are hotels, there are There are event spaces, yeah, including properties that they rent out. So in the group property management company, she actually manages all these people second in command. How did she do that? Now, this is very, very important, because if you realize one thing, it is not our fault. I want to say this, it is not our fault that when we become a manager, it doesn't sink in that it is beyond the work we need to do ourselves. Because if we continue to do the work on our own, how many of you know we become the bottleneck? And as the specialist or the subject matter expert, we are the only one that can solve the problem. We are the only one that can build those programs. We are the only one that can create those proposals. We are the only one that can solve those problems. Alamak. Now, if I can, this is a very dangerous place to be, because now, and I say that it is not our fault. Why? Because I'll share with you a lot of technical positions, from programmers, let's say programmers, to chefs, yeah, to anything that is very technical. We start our career being good at what we do, correct? Now, let's take the programmer. My job is to solve problems. And the more I solve those problems, the more people recognize, oh, you know, this guy is good at what he does. This guy or this girl is good at what he or she does. And I get promoted and promoted and promoted because of the complexity of the problems that I can handle. Now, what's the challenge is that after maybe 22 to maybe 28, 30 years old, 8 years later, I get promoted to menjadi CTO, Chief Technology Officer. And then my job as a CTO is not about doing the coding anymore and solving those problems. Suddenly it's about working with others. I need to make sure that they can solve the problems. So it's beyond getting the results myself. It is about getting results through others. And that is why it's not our fault, because we got promoted into that position, and then suddenly, alamak, now I need to manage others. Now that's the challenge, because if I can, that's the challenge, because that's a very big difference with people that execute the work themselves, okay, versus people that are willing to coach and lead people to do the work. So people managers, if I can, there's one very clear criteria, okay? And for those of you who are business owners and promoting your executives to become managers, make sure you look for this very important criteria, and I'm going to share it with you. People managers, the true blue ones, are not just concerned about getting the work done. They are concerned about how quickly the work gets done. So I'm going to put this out onto my screen. Can you see this here, gang? Because you have managers that are very talent-based. Talent-based means, you know, they're just focusing on the people. I put the right people there, they'll do it. But if I am a true blue people manager, my job is to make sure my people can efficiently get work done. Not get work done, but efficiently get work done, which means to say it has a lot to do with the systems. If I can, to move from specialist to people manager, one must be system oriented and to ask questions about efficiency and effectiveness that executives don't do. This is one very important criteria if you are assessing whether a person is ready to be promoted into a manager position. And this is also a very important thing, because as we grow our people, we grow ourselves, specialists to people managers. One thing that is very, very important is that in any organization is the upskilling. So I want to share something with you about what Zig Ziglar shared. Now, this is very important, but every time I share this slide, it knocks the wind out of a lot of business owners, leaders, managers, I kid you not, because Zig Ziglar positioned it so clearly. And you know what he said? He said this, okay? the only thing worse than training employees and losing them, and this is very, very crucial because many organizations or businesses don't necessarily prioritize training. How many of you know what I mean? They don't necessarily prioritize training, whether it's onboarding the new managers or whether it's upskilling, whether it's communication, whether it's technical. And that's why the job at SHRDC is so important, because they're all about helping people upskill. But there's sometimes a mental block. And how many of you know that mental block is sometimes people don't want to train. They don't want to upskill. I was just doing a webinar last week with MEPN from Malaysia Productivity Corporation, Machinery and Equipment Productivity Nexus. And one of the questions that came up is, if I train my employees, yeah, and some technical training, mahal, not cheap one, when I train my employees, they become good and then they leave. They leave, never mind, you know, they become my competitor. Now, where does that leave the businesses and the business owners and the leaders? Now, this is important because what Zig Ziglar says is this: there's only one thing worse than training employees and losing them, and that is, guys, do you read this? Oh my goodness. Not train them and they stay. Ah! How many of you think that's worse? Because when we don't train them and then they stay, they are not even productive for us. How many of you know what I mean? Say yeah. And if you do, to me, thank you so much. People are raising hand. Thank you. Your engagement is so good. Fizia, thank you. Because when you get this, our jobs as leaders is to invest time and money in our people, because the time that they are with us, whether it's 2 years or 20 years, they have to be good for us. Good meaning good to serve the organization, not I don't want to train, I don't want to give, because it is a given. People come and go. How many of you know what I mean? It is a given. Does that make sense? So this is very, very powerful. Oh gosh, this is so amazing. I want to share this story with you because, guys, oh gosh, how many of you have heard of this swimming school before? Maybe you send some of your kids to Super Sharks, okay? If you do, this is such a powerful story because the owner, all right, is the CEO and the owner of a leading swimming school. Her name is Marilyn, and she's an amazing person. But you know, she shared this with me. So this was many, many years back. She shared this with me and she says, oh, you know, I want to start the coaching program because, you know, I want to grow my business. Maresa, how hard is it to start a swimming school and get lots of business in? Because I'm an ex-Olympian. I'm not only a state swimmer, I'm a national swimmer, and I'm an Olympic athlete. And she competed in her days and she's so driven. And how many of you know, when we swim, see, I got a picture of someone swimming down there. When you swim, it's about you. It's about how hard you kick. It's about how hard you push your heart, how hard you push the water and you cut through. It's all about you, because no one else can help you swim faster. And she wore that mindset into her business. Oh my gosh, when she wore that mindset into her business, she struggled. The business is a good one, got waiting lists of customers, but she didn't have enough swim coaches. Tak cukup orang nak pergi bawah air to go into the pool. And then she started to struggle. She said, wow, it's beyond me doing the work, because there's so much that she can do to go in the pool. She needed to know how to coach people, to motivate people, to lead them so that they can be a similar or at least majority quality of her own standards when she coaches people to swim. And that was very, very powerful because she had the highest level of perfectionism. Guys, take a look at her perfectionism. She was running out of patience, and when she ran out of patience, the team started to burn out. And this is very, very important because what I'm going to share with you next is very critical. Now, how many of you know this man? How many of you know this man? Okay. How many of you know the football team he used to coach? Can you type it in, please? Testing. Don't worry. I think Liverpool's coach also not bad lah. So don't worry. Anybody of you know this man? Type his name in, please. People raising hand. I can see. Anybody can tell me? I'm waiting. Who is this guy? Legend. Wow. Muhammad Adrian, I think I know you support Man U. Zaini, Alex Ferguson, Elvin, Aisha, David. Thank you. Alex Ferguson coached the Manchester United team. Thank you. And he is deemed as, he got knighted. You know what's knighted? The Queen knighted him. He got knighted because of his service to his country by putting Manchester United on the map through the English Premier League, through the World Cup, through all kinds. Sir AF, yes, short form. Now, if I can, you look at these pictures. Sir Alex Ferguson is one of the best coaches. When he want to teach his players, okay, to kick, to score, to goal, to whatever strategies they have on the field, do you see him running around inside the field? Do you see him like running around? do you see that? No, you know. Actually, you don't see him doing that. But what do you see him doing most of the time? Now this is very crucial, because what you see him doing is communicating. Thank you, Yasnida. Observing. You see him giving feedback. You see, he's communicating, he's giving feedback. You ran like this, you ran like, pointing finger, alamak, janganlah YM. Yeah, he's giving feedback, he's communicating. Now, if I can, these are the marks of this is coaching. Leadership is coaching, because, and I cannot say this, I cannot say more of this, is that for us as leaders and executives, when our players, our subordinates, don't play well, what do? We do it for them. Doing it for them is turun padang. How many of you know what I mean? Say yeah. We turun padang. Thank you. Versus we communicate. Now, this is the part that is usually extremely an art and a science, because I want to say this. Thanks, Rosemaria. Thank you. If as a football coach, I don't turun padang, why as business owners and leaders say, you tak tahu buat lah. Okay, bagi I. Stop. Let me do it. Send all the files to me. I do it myself. And that's the challenge, because how many of those things you can do? And this is critical. When we use communication, and I want you to write this down, we have to be aware that we do not apply, and I want you to write this down, the hammer in hand syndrome. Hammer in hand. Hammer in hand means if I am holding a tukul, a hammer, if I'm holding a hammer, what do I see around me? Apa yang I nampak? What will I see? Because I punya tool, hammer mah. Betul tak? What do I see a lot of, guys? Can anybody help me? If I'm holding a hammer, what do I see? What am I looking for? Yes, thank you, Cairo. Thank you. I'm looking for nails. I'm looking to implement my tukul. Now, this is very, very crucial, because when we are working with many different types of people, can I just have a hammer? And this is what a lot of leaders do. I'm sharing a lot here, guys. Oh, this is very, very powerful, because a lot of leaders, we will talk to one person. Wow, this person motivated, inspired. I had one meeting with him. He understands what I want to do. Wow, I get along with this type of person. And then you take that same communication and you go and talk to another person. Tiba-tiba that person macam tak faham. He go away and do the work, come back 2 weeks later. Kenapa macam ni? Oh my gosh, you never understood it. Why you never ask question? See, that's delegation gone bad. But if I may, if you have a tukul and everything looks like a nail, what do I need to do? I need to have more tools of communicating with different people. I'm going to share one tool with you, because guys, I can go into a full 5 days on these different tools, but I'm going to share one with you right after this, and you are going to use it. I'm going to teach you how to use it. And if you are interested to know all these tools that you can use to coach people, we actually do that in our Coach Foundation program. I will share that with you. That is a 2-day program, but we actually give you these tools more than enough for you to lead your team. Now, that's called the hammer in hand. But if I can, this is very, very powerful, because the more tools I have a saw, I have a drill, then I know how to talk to many types of people. Now, how many of you also understand? When I lead my team, how many types of people are there? Berapa jenis orang ada? What are the many types of people? Do I have 1 type? 2 type? How many types? 3 types? As a leader, how many people do you come across when you manage? Too many. Thank you. Too many. And that's the thing, is as leaders, are we equipped to manage these different types of people? Can I also need a hammer that can fix all types of nails? Betul. But Zahura, if you have more tools, you have a drill, you have a saw, you have a cutter. All these are your tools for different types of people. Thank you, Rizwan. I see you raising your hand, because I'm going to share this one thing with you. I always like to give one very powerful thing so that you can implement, because one of the key of leadership is motivation. How many of you ask this question? Hey, how do I motivate my staff to do the work? How many of you want to know? And this is one form of communication. Thank you. I see hands being raised, because I'm going to share it now. Before I go into that, look at this story. Now these are all real businesses. A solar technology business with 2 young founders, and they're millennials lah. So I think they're in their late 20s, something like that. Late 20s for some millennials is old. They consider themselves old. I don't know where they get that message from. And so many of us are way older than that. But they say, I got to start my business. And they have, and this is very, very important, they have an overemphasis on salary and incentive package. I mean, not wrong, because they think that the salary, the income, the incentive, the commission, the increments, all that is very important. And when their staff leave, true story, their staff leave, they counter. And when they counter, they throw more and more benefits, they throw more and more of these conversations on how much staff can earn, and then the staff stay. How many of you realize you're sending the wrong message when you do that? This is very, very important, because they got to a point where they came and talked to me, Coach Maresa, we don't know what to do. People are leaving right, left, and center. Of course, it's also a lot to do with the culture and the retention, but don't let me go there. It gets things complicated. But a lot of people were leaving, and people tried to leave to be able to get a better offer, and then they stay for 6 months, and then after that, they want to leave again. So if I can, this is a very powerful form of communication, which I'm going to teach you, because it's got a lot to do with how you tap the motivation of a person. So when you communicate, these people, when you communicate more and more about incentive, commission, bonuses, that's your level of motivation. You're speaking to that level of motivation in your employees, versus a conversation of, and this is something that we grew, a conversation on career progression, a conversation on being challenged, a progression on an emphasis on newer projects, different types of clients you get to work with, recognition of your work, the cultures and the values in the business. Now, this created the retention for this solar technology company. And if I can, we went right down, and I want you to highlight that at the bottom. We went right down to creating a culture matrix. What's a culture matrix? Some of you in this room, I know you've got a culture matrix because we've built it with you before. Every single one of your values, they could break it down into behaviors. That means each person in the company, from the CEO, the founders, to the managers, to the executive, could pinpoint what is good culture and what is bad culture. Does that make sense? That's the culture matrix. If any of you want to know more about the culture matrix, please read Hiring for Attitude. Okay, it's a very good book by Mark Murphy. All right, any of you got that? Please share the link inside here. Okay, because I'm not going to do that. Hiring for Attitude. Mark Murphy teaches businesses how to build the culture matrix, and their appraisal. This company, their appraisal was all about quantitative, not only just quantitative, which is the results and the performance that they get, it also included the values. Now, why is this important? Okay, because of what I'm going to share with you next. This company realized, this solar tech company realized that there was something of a different level of motivation for each employee. Okay, how many of you have seen this before? This triangle here. Do you know what it is? Okay, Tam Hun, thank you. Okay, very good. Some of you, thank you. More hands being raised. Paham. Now, those of you who don't know, this is called the Maslow's hierarchy. Now, the Maslow's hierarchy of human needs, all right, this is important because it has everything to do with how you communicate. Now, if you understand the Maslow hierarchy, thank you, Rosemaria, the beginning, the foundation of my human needs is physiological needs. Physiological needs is my oxygen, my water, my food. When that is met, I go to the second level. The second level is safety and security, being safe, my shelter, my property. You know, I don't have an open space and people can come in anytime and go anytime and take my things, you know. So that's the second level. After that is met, I feel safe. I'm not in danger. I go to the third one. Third one is love and belonging. Love and belonging is about your social needs. The need to feel connected, to be engaged with other human beings. Of course, this is starting to be a problem, especially when we're locked down and we live alone, all right? So this is actually quite a challenge for some people. So that's why if you know anybody that live alone, please reach out to them, because it's challenging. If you live with family, it's different. But bila lockdown, live alone, sangat susah. You start talking to the wall, you talk to the flower pot, you know. So this is true, it's real. The fourth one, once that is met, the fourth one is self-esteem. Self-esteem is the need for respect, the need to be seen as significant, the need to be seen as different, as doing something unique. All right. So you see how the motivations start to change for different employees. At the pinnacle of the hierarchy of needs is self-actualization. Self-actualization means at the highest, the pinnacle of human needs is to make a difference to other humans. Okay, this is from neurosemantics, and if you study the Maslow hierarchy, we took days to take this whole thing apart, but I'm simplifying it for you because human beings are not that simple. Okay, they're not that simple, but it is easy for me to explain it. But there are 5 levels, and at the top is to make difference for others. Does that make sense? Now, if you notice this, there are actually 2 levels. Okay, actually 2 levels. The bottom level, okay, the top part is intrinsic, okay, and the bottom part is extrinsic. Now, what does this mean? Is somewhere along the bottom part, extrinsic needs of communicating with people are when you are communicating the commissions, the bonuses, the incentives, the increments, you are throwing those conversations out. When you motivate people with extrinsic value, that's one part of the hierarchy. That's one part of the pyramid. Does that make sense? Versus communicate also at an intrinsic level. Intrinsic means kena masuk. You've got to go in to find out what the employee wants, where he or she wants to go, what do they want to develop, what their dreams, their visions are, what are their purposes in life that they want to fulfill. Intrinsic and extrinsic, this is 2 types of conversations. This is very powerful, guys. No one will teach you this, but when you can understand the different conversations that you have, you can tap into a different level of motivation with your employees. How many of you know what I mean? Zahura says yes, boleh paham. Now, thank you so much, people raising hand. Now, if I can, some people salah paham, coach, you know, they salah paham and say, oh, in that case, I will just have the intrinsic conversation all the way. No, 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 no. Bukan, the extrinsic must be in place. However, to take your employees further, you must go beyond the extrinsic to the intrinsic. And therefore, you encourage them to look at beyond the salary, beyond the dangling of the carrot. Now, if I can, there are some challenges that organizations, especially SMEs, would face. They pay somebody from the outside competitor will come and dangle 200 ringgit. The employee will go. Why? Because it's purely extrinsic for these employees. But is that what you want? Is that what you want, where your company and a competing company or any other company can just be apple to apple? But in actual fact, if you dangle 200 ringgit to an employee, they'll say, no, I like my boss. I like my working environment. I like the projects I work on. I like my growth path. I like my career here because I'm being challenged. I get to learn. I get to grow. All those are intrinsic. And can we put a value? Is that worth 200 ringgit to you? Yes or no? Is it worth 200 ringgit to you? And that's the thing. It's not comparable, but that is what we are asking of leaders who know how to have conversations beyond just the package. Does that make sense? Thank you, Zahura. Very good. But towards the end, we cannot satisfy everybody. Absolutely. But we ourselves need to do our best to communicate at different levels of motivation. Zahura, thank you very much. Thank you, Fizia. Absolutely. Does that make sense, gang? Oh, I'm just checking the timer. I still got timer. I think I'm gonna eat up a little bit of Q&A timer. But guys, if you have any questions, please pop it in. No silly question, but that's very, very good. Okay. Okay, very good, very good. So I had a very, very good question. Okay. If I can, it is actually pertaining to this lah. So let me go back one slide here. So a question that I got. May I know how, if you already understand the employee's intrinsic, and yet they are calculative, they don't want to put the hard work and contribute or put in effort to work in their dream or career growth that they want? This is a very good question. Siapa yang tanya? Very good. Now, this is very important here, gang. If you, as the leader, as the coach of your subordinate, you have done that part of understanding her goals or his goals, his vision, his purpose, where they want to go, but they're not willing to put in the work and still very calculative. Okay. Now, if I can, I also want you guys to poo-poo, throw out the mindset of a certain mindset that people say about millennials. Throw that out, because the minute we label certain people as entitled, and this is what I'm also reading from this question, when we read this situation, we could treat people differently. Does that make sense? So first and foremost, to remove that label. All right. Number two, if you have done your best to coach this person, to pull out all their goals, all right, to go through their vision and their purpose, and they still don't want to do the work, but you've done your 100%, okay, they still don't want to do the work, I use the Chinese adage. How many of you have heard the Chinese adage? If you want your horse to drink water, you know, those days we ride horses, no cars and vehicles, you use a horse to transport. You can pull the horse to the water hole, but if the horse don't open his mouth and drink, the horse will still die. How many of you have heard the Chinese adage? Now, thank you so much, Rosemaria. Thank you. Very good. All the hands raising, love it. If you have heard that before, this is the situation. However, So we can do our best as leaders, and we have a lot on our plate, and we can help this person tarik, reach the water, tak nak minum, still will die what? So as far as I'm concerned, we can help someone, but they must help themselves. Very important. And if they are not willing to help themselves, it is okay. But it's only okay if we know, leaders, we know we have done our 100%. To me, that is the question I ask myself, because I need to go to sleep at night. Every night I go to sleep without having to think, have I done my best for him, for her? Does that make sense? So that's a question that we ask to yourself, okay? We have to customize, Zahura. We have to customize according to the staff. But at the same time, they also must understand the company mission, the vision. Two must tango, and upskilling is very important. Absolutely. In our coaching program, where we coach leaders to become coaches, subject matter expert turn into people specialists. They have to use coaching skills. Coaching skills is also about helping people to see further than the task that they are doing. If you are just seeing what you have to do immediately in front of you, the leaders cannot see further. They also cannot motivate. That's why the earlier statistic I shared, 20% of first-time managers actually don't know how to lead. Why? Because they transit from executing, completing the task. Suddenly, they have to understand the clarity and the direction. They have to see far, and then they need to know what to do today. Now, that is not easy to do. So very, very good. Thank you, Zahura. Another question that's coming. Oh, Fizia. Hopefully, we excite them to drink because the water is delicious. That is another level of leadership and coaching. Remember, that's a very good one. Thank you, Fizia. This is coming back to the hammer in hand. You pull and pull and pull. You use brute force. Pull and pull and pull. By the time the horse get there, they also angry. They frustrated. Do you think they're going to drink? Or if you use influential skills to tell them how sweet the water is, go and try. Influencing is another skill in your hand. Does that make sense? And that's also part of this. Thank you, Fizia. How do I deal? Another very good question. Thanks, Rosmira. That's why I can tell you this session, I can go on for hours. It's very, very good. Very, very in-depth. Another question. Very good. How do I deal with employee who expect to be promoted yearly or every few years? Okay, very good. Promotion is a dollar sign. Okay. And this is what I share with a lot of leaders everywhere. Okay, I share with leaders everywhere because employee want to be promoted, and then they will say, boss, I work here for 3 years already. Yeah, it's time for me to be promoted into manager role. Okay, example and you need to pay me more money. And then usually the boss, the CEO or the leader will be like, especially if you run a business, alamak, pay more money means how? Now, hang on a minute. I always share this with a lot of organizations. If your employees want to be promoted, they want to make more, the answer is always yes. The answer is always yes. Now, when the answer is yes, the next question is, how much value will you bring to the organization? Now tell me, if this is how much money you want to make, from A to B, increased by how much to how much value will you bring to the organization? So again, coaching question, give it back to that person, because they are going to open their mouth and drink the water, not you're going to shove their face into the water. No. So good question. Thank you so much, whoever asked that. How do I deal with employees who expect to be promoted? The answer is yes, but what is the increase of value that you will bring to the organization? Kalau itu tak ada beza, then how am I going to promote you? Very interesting, huh? Wow, the questions are coming in. Okay, I'm going to get to that question at the end. How should a leader delegate jobs in team of different competence levels? Okay, I'll get to that one. Okay, SHRDC, thank you. Managing people is not easy. Some of us focus only on extrinsic factors, but pay less attention on intrinsic. Thank you, Zahura. Toward the end, we have to make sure it is a balance, not one without the other, to make sure that the staff mental health will contribute to great production. Absolutely. Thank you, Zahura. Very, very good. I'm going to Muniz. I'll get to that question at the end, if that's okay. I'll complete this and then I'll go into Q&A. Very, very good questions, guys. Keep it coming. Love it. Love it. Wow. This is a very interesting company. I found it so powerful because you might not know them, but they are doing very, very good work. And I want to tell you their transformation, because they are going through exactly what this whole webinar has been about. Many of us are special subject matter expert. We're specialists, we're technical, we're technician, you know, and then we're engineers. All of them, this whole company, they're engineers, including the founders. And they are, for many, many years, over 10 years, a Seiko partner in Malaysia. And this company is called Inotex. If you want to Google them, go add them on Instagram. They're doing a lot of good work now. But you know, Seiko is a Japanese company. How many of you know Japanese people, their standard, detail and technical, sangat dahsyat. Wow. And they have been working with them for over 10 years. Thank you, all the hands being raised. So they are doing such good work and they're very, very technical. But the challenge with that is being technical when they run a team. And guys, if you can see the photo at the bottom, this company was responsible for organizing 2017 SEA Games. That's how big they are. And very, very technical. The challenge is people were coming and going. So if you're familiar with technical, you train, and then I'm a technician, then you go become an engineer, train, and then the more problems you get to solve, you get pinched. Lari, orang lari, right? So they were thinking, oh my gosh, I'm like a stepping stone. I hate that word. I'm like a stepping stone for the bigger companies. They started to have losing a lot of people, and then they decided to build the culture. Because people, and thank you so much, Zahura knows this, people don't stay because of just extrinsic. They stay because they believe in the company, and that's very intrinsic more than extrinsic, okay? And if I can, when they applied very strong culture and values, Sampaya, they are the only company I know. They wake up every morning at 5 a.m. to pray. They'll pray together. So they literally pray together even until now, Zoom. They pray all throughout the day. That's how strong their culture is, number one. Number two, after they pray, they exercise because they're a sports company. And get this. The founders, who are two gentlemen, years ago, before they even began this transformation, they were 10 to 15 kilos bigger than they see now. I'm going to share it with you, okay? Shortly, I'm going to share. They were so big, and they were overweight, and they were smoking and all that. In commitment to changing their culture, do you know what they did? They stopped smoking. Wow, they stopped, and they started a campaign called No to Smoking, and until today they are encouraging many youngsters to take sports and fitness into their livelihood, their lifestyle, so that they don't smoke, they don't go into criminal activity, they don't mix with the wrong crowd, because sports helps the community grow right down from their own culture to outwards. That's how hard they've done it. And before I go into sharing with you more of their story, this is what the transformation was for them. Okay, and this is the last thing that I'm going to share with you. Very, very powerful. Yes, thank you so much. People are not robots. Zahura, yes, they have needs. And this is it. If you can see my screen right now, under the neurosemantic banner, we have this axis. And on the y-axis, we have this thing called purpose. And on the x-axis, we have this thing called performance. Purpose, performance axis helps us to identify where we are at as leaders, okay? And so if I can, if you are low end of performance and low end on creating that purpose, that emotional connection. Okay, both also low. Okay, you are in the underdeveloped quadrant. Okay, if you are, and this is very important, because this is for you to check in about where you are at, leaders, especially when you move to become people managers. On the low end of performance, we have people that are low on performance, but then they are high on purpose. They are high on purpose, meaning they have very strong values. They know what they want to create. They have this bigger than life vision and goal. But low on performance is the dreamer and the creators. So there are some people that maybe they run NGOs, yeah, non-profit. Don't let me stereotype, but I'm just giving you an example so that you can imagine. They are in this quadrant. So they need to put more performance into place, right? And then you go to the next quadrant where you are high on performance, but very low on purpose. So this was the extrinsic to intrinsic a little bit. High on performance, where everybody is the driver. They perform, they achieve. Next, what's next? Task after task after task. But low in purpose. Not very sure why I'm doing this. I'm not very sure my objective. How is this enriching my life? Low on purpose. Okay. And when I get to the fourth quadrant, I'm high on performance and high on purpose. I become a peak potential leader. And so if I can, the difference from moving from a subject matter expert, knowing your stuff, the detail, that probably brings you performance. But when you move into being a people manager, a people leader, you are leading by purpose. And purpose is nothing more than, and I wouldn't say nothing more, but it has everything to do with your emotional connection to your people. Performance is just getting stuff done. But will people follow you? They're following you because they're following your story. They're following the belief that they have in you and why you're doing what you're doing. This is not about being a business owner. Sorry, those of you who are thinking this is a business owner punya talk. No. This has everything to do with, even as a manager, when you manage in an organization, can you translate that purpose down to your team? Because everybody must go in that one direction. So if I can, I want to share with you one video before we go into a little bit of finishing. We're going to get into some finishing, and I'm going to share some ways forward for you. So enjoy this video.
Great business, great life.
Great business, great life.
Great business, great life.
And when it comes to timing, the partnership of Seiko Time System and Innotech System Corporation is undoubtedly the most comprehensive and notably compatible. Developing people through sports serves as Innotech's tagline, and it is reinforced with its Say No to Smoking campaign.
We become more focused. Jadi bila saya become more focused, I want the teams also more focused, more healthy. Jadi the company is not about saya seorang, it's about a team. Yang quit smoking, exercise is a way to get me on that level, optimized thinking.
Macam dulu kita buat kerja tanpa ada apa-apa planning. Kita maksudnya kita buat tu sometimes tak ada purpose pun.
We have been coached to respect our plan.
A leader is not only mental development but physical development. Jadi macam sekolah juga, tubuh badan yang sihat, otak cergas.
I think the value of discipline has evolved.
And then we keeping that work on business. We want to more work on business than the work in business. That's why we want to have a work on business. We need to keep high level lah. Especially we need to have a proper top 3 meeting. Okay. Now we have a default must do. Whatever we cannot, if we cannot meet, okay, we Skype. We don't want to miss that top 3 meeting, because that's the important day which we are fully work on business. Okay.
Dan best part lagi adalah sebelum kita start meeting pukul 7 pagi tu kita adakan biasanya kita running, saya dan Shidi akan running berlari bersama. Lepas tu baru kita continue kita punya meeting. Yeah.
So if we can start this coaching earlier, it will be much better. Next year will be our 10th year anniversary. And we are looking forward for the first 10th year result together with Action Coach. Thank you.
Great business, great life ni adalah saya dapat contohnya berbasikal, so I can ride 160 this year. Saya dah finish saya punya goal. Lepas itu saya juga dapat full marathon for my first time. Right.
Hi Coach Maresa. Okay. We love you very very much. Okay. From what you taught us, okay, we become different. We become more work on business, and also we notice that we have a lot of great life together with the business we are doing. Okay, but you need to stay healthy, because you need not only help us but help the others entrepreneurs to become, as what you said, is great business, great life. Okay. Stay healthy and smile always. Okay.
The reason why I shared this video with you, everybody, is these are two business people, and their CFO is the lady. Yeah. When I first met them, they had very little handle on a culture, and they transformed themselves, and it was epic what they choose to remove and let go, because they realized that it is the leading of change from the inside out. And as they lead people, they couldn't lead people with a solid purpose if they were not congruent with what they sell, which is sports, which is fitness at the highest level. And they felt that they were lying every day to their team, but they made that difference. They stopped smoking and they started doing triathlons, marathons, and Zul is a cyclist. He's gone to many parts of Europe to cycle. Yeah, Jin, totally awesome. And Shidi, which is the other guy in the nice shirt, he's doing marathons like effortlessly. So this is a very powerful path, because this path is not just, ladies and gentlemen, changing your actions. You're not just changing what you do. You're also changing who you are. You're going down beneath the iceberg to transform even your belief systems, your values around leadership and managing people. Because if you manage people and your beliefs are, easier if I do it myself. Why I want to teach you, I teach you, and then after that you leave me after a while. You see, these are beliefs and values that if we don't adjust those, it becomes very difficult for us to continue being congruent with our actions. So this is a very powerful formula of leading the change inside out, because, ladies and gentlemen, we perform, we act and we perform behaviors based on our belief system. And so in our program, the Leader Coach Development Program, we work from the outside in, inside out. We work all that through a 3-part program. So those of you who are interested, this is very, very powerful. We've been doing this for MNCs to SMEs, the like. I'll share some names with you later, people that have participated in our program. The Coach Foundation program, Coaching Skills Mastery, where we teach you how to coach, like literally how to ask questions, how to draw the vision, how to motivate people, the different tools that you must have in your hand. All that is here. And the leadership matrix is a breakthrough of your identity. And if I can just share this here, it's a 2-day, 3-day, 3-day part program, the LCDP, Leader Coach Development Program. Program 1 and Program 2 are very, very powerful, but you need Program 1 and 2 before you go to Program 3. That's a prerequisite. And then we take you through understanding people, the psychology of people, how do you create change, the conversations of change. All that is a science and an art all at the same time, yeah? These are some of the companies that have participated. We have HR directors right up to entrepreneurs and founders in all of our leadership programs. For your information, we are currently in a 1-year program with RHB where we are coaching, leadership coaching and business coaching for the middle managers. We have 40 of them that we're working with. Another program that we also did with is RB Hygiene. RB Hygiene are the people behind Jif, behind all the cleaning products in the world. And we worked with their sales and marketing team. So there were about 25 of them. We're currently in the midst of developing a program for Air Asia where we're working with 2,000 of their managers. And then all the way, we've also got many different other SMEs, business owners that are also inside our programs, because leadership is just the same, whether you own the business or you run a department, it's all just the same because you're working with people. So for those of you who found just now powerful and interesting, of course, there's so much that I can share. The Coach Foundation program will equip you entirely. And when you come into the Coach Foundation program, you can decide if the other series is also relevant for you, where you will understand. We will, in the most simplified manner, we won't go into psychology, but we will teach you how employees are motivated. And so we will actually teach you how to start talking. There's a lot of role play, a lot of practicality in our 2-day programs. Again, all can be done virtually. If you're interested, the Coach Foundation program we've been doing across many different companies. Some companies ask us to come in and do an in-house. When we come in and do in-house, it's only their managers. A minimum number that we need are 12. But we also have public programs. Again, per person for 2 sessions is 1,697. The beautiful thing about this program are 2 things. Okay, I'm going to share it with you. Is that when you invest in this program, there's a lifetime membership to review. That means you can come at no major cost to come into the program again and again and again to review. Okay, and the second part is this. You can also, due to our collaboration with SHRDC, we are giving a very special rate to SHRDC members. All of you are here because you're from SHRDC. We're giving a very special rate at 1,400 per pax for 2 days in the August intake. And the good news is this, get this, all of this is HRDF claimable. So any of you that are contributing to HRDF, please go and talk to an SHRDC representative and they'll walk you through the steps. And then we'll see you in the program if you are still keen and interested. All right, Zahura, making a decision is not easy. We have to consider all areas, and sometimes not all decision will be agreeable to a subordinate, but be a good leader, it's very tough. We need also need coaching. You are absolutely right. Leaders also need coaches. Coaches need coaches. If I can, I'll share with you. I also work with my coach, and he's not easy with me, but we always need someone who can help us see what we cannot see. All right, so that's very powerful. Thank you. Some of us are born with it. All angles we have to look into before making any big decisions. Zahura, thank you. That is lovely. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get into a Q&A. Guys, don't go away yet because we also have a quick poll. But my last thing that I want to share with you is this. How many of you can see the glass ceiling? And if I may, why is it a glass ceiling? You can see right through the glass ceiling, but you cannot go beyond the ceiling. Does that make sense? And this is a very critical syndrome for many organizations. Many organizations think that their asset is their customer, their network, their resources, the money, whatever. Now, the glass ceiling in any organization, when I go and train and I coach people, is always people. Because if we cannot get more from our people, we have limitations. And that you can get more, I'll put it this way. You can get more money. You can get investors to invest. You can build digital systems. You can get more software. You can get more products. You can source all these things. But if we don't get more potential from the people by investing in them and focusing and prioritizing their abilities and empowering them, we reach a glass ceiling. And so my last quote for you is this: never build a business. Build the people, and they build the business. That's the skill of coaching, and that's the skill of being a people manager. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm going to invite Muniz in. I've got some questions, guys, and you've got some really good stuff coming up here. But can we do a quick poll, everybody? Wow, it's coming through, gang. What are your challenges in leading the team? Okay. Very good. Ooh, it's coming in. Okay. Keep it coming, gang. Keep it coming. Those of you who are interested to connect with me, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. We share a lot of our events there as well. We do a lot of live shows on LinkedIn too, so you get tons of it. I interview all kinds of amazing people on my LinkedIn page, so stay tuned. Or you can also go to the Spark Group Asia on Facebook. Yeah, and we'll be very happy to share with you. Okay, more of the votes are coming in, gang. Wow, this is so interesting. Very interesting. We seem to have a tie. Bring it on, gang. Bring it on. Mustafa, SHRDC will provide a recording of today's session. Okay, I think that will come through in an email later. Betul lah, Muniz?
Yes, we will send through the link to our YouTube channel for all the recording of Maresa's webinar with us.
Very nice. Thank you, Mustafa. Thank you for asking. Okay, very nice. Okay, we seem to have more votes coming in, but where we are at right now,
47 people have actually, 48 people have actually answered the vote. We still have 30 of them have not answered the vote.
Okay, let's wait up for them, but let's get into some Q&A, yeah, if that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
We go back to some of that earlier question. And guys, please throw in more Q&A. Yeah? How should a leader delegate jobs in a team of different competence levels? Okay, thank you very much. Now, this is a very, very good question because it is also it is not just competence. Competence is skill. It's also character. It's the attitude. It's the alignment of the vision, the culture, alignment of culture and values. Yeah. So how should a leader delegate jobs? Delegation is a fine art. Okay, it's a fine art. But my very important tip to delegation is, and I want you to write this down, never delegate a task. Okay, yeah? I want you to write that down. Don't delegate a task. You need to delegate the purpose. Okay? So don't delegate the what, where, when, how. Delegate the why. Now, why is this very important is because a lot of managers tend to delegate the what, where, when, how, which is the details, correct or not? But when you delegate the details, the employee cannot use her own creativity to understand what is trying to be achieved, the why behind the task. When he or she understands the why, when they get stuck, they tersangkut. Because when we delegate, they will sangkut ma. And sometimes the challenge is when we delegate, they sangkut, they keep quiet. Does that make sense? So this is also another openness policy. This one I will share. How to get your employees to come to you, all right? Because open door policy not necessarily works. Now coming back, when they sangkut, but because they understand the why, they can go into a different strain of problem solving that was not covered earlier. So this is one. I've got several tips and I share that in the Coach Foundation program, but I cover such a powerful extent spectrum of delegation because it's an art along with communication. But my first tip, this very good question asked by I'm not sure who, delegation is never about the task because we're not enabling them to problem solve if the details we gave to them tak boleh pakai. And sometimes that's the case. As managers and leaders, sometimes I'm not on the ground anymore. How do I know how to solve their problem better than they do? Actually, they will have a better idea. Does that make sense? So this is very important, and I hope that helped you. Very interesting. Thank you, Zahura. Leaders need more of this. As a new and independent contributor manager, what are the skill sets needed? How to change? Okay. The skill sets are very vast. So inside some of our programs, we talk about communication, we talk about the development of people, we talk about managing resources, we talk about building relationships. There is 11 sets of skills. Okay, so if I can, that's something that we actually do cover. How to change. Okay, because many of us are very different. Yeah, all of us are different. You, me, all of us are different. Now, in the Coach Foundation program, before you begin, part of your program is we will actually do a behavior intelligence assessment. Earlier you saw AccuMatch. We do that for each and every one of you, and we will teach you how to identify your skill, your own behavior before you start working with others. And that's the challenge also, is we don't understand ourselves. We want to start managing other people. That is the problem. So beginning with ourselves before we go to others. This is all covered inside the 2 days. I hope that's useful. Thank you so much for translating. Ooh, we have all the polls. Can I share the polls? Can I share it, guys? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you can. I will share the results now.
Yes, yes, we can. Oh, let's go for it. Alrighty. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what are your challenges in leading your team? Okay, the top of the chart is 43%. I have too much work of my own to handle a team. This is beautiful. Thank you for sharing, because this is exactly why you have a team. Isn't it counterintuitive? And so if I can, it's slightly counterintuitive because if I may, when you have too much of your own work to manage a team, my question for you is, what is that team for? Number one, 43%. Let's go to the next one. 38% people I work with lack skill and abilities, and that is upskilling. Okay, so when we go to lack skill and abilities, this 38%, are they lacking skill or are they lacking motivation? This one you need to know, because, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to write this down. They can or they can't, or they will or they won't. You need to be very clear about that. Does that make sense, guys? Because if they can, they have the skill, it's competence. Can do doesn't mean they will do. Will is motivation. Can and will. You can but won't, also tak boleh. Will but can't. If they are willing but cannot, tak ada skill. Okay lah, skill boleh ajar mah. Betul tak? So this is the matrix. Can, can't, will, won't. This is very important to look at. 34%, no formal training and coaching on how to lead. There you go. This is exactly why we are the teachers. We are doing this all over the region. Thank you very much. 32%, 32, this one's a tie. I cannot seem to properly motivate and communicate with my employees. 32%. Another 32%, my team are too slow to change and adapt. Okay. The other 20%, I'm unable to get along with different types of people. And the last one, not ready to lead, but no choice. Okay, so that's the last one. Very good. Well done, gang. Fantastic. Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Zahura. Thank you very much for the fruitful session today. Very, very good. Ladies and gentlemen, That is the poll. But if you want to be in touch with me, please add me on LinkedIn or write me an email. But I do strongly suggest, if you want to be a part of the Coach Foundation program, please reach out to Muniz and her team at SHRDC, and they will walk you through the entire process easily.
We have a question from Anonymous. There's too many companies offering leadership program. How do I decide which is the best? This is a very good question to be asked.
Very, very good question. Very good. So if I can, there are a lot of good programs out there. I kid you not. Yeah. But leadership is a very big, hairy, audacious word. It's such a big, hairy, audacious word. So more important is to understand the challenges that your leaders are facing. Okay. So when I say challenges, is it a skill-based lacking? They lack skill-based. That means you look at the iceberg. Atas dia nak tapi tak tahu macam mana. If it's skill-based, then you should go into a skill-based leadership program where you're teaching them how to do it. It's very practical. Okay, and be very cautious. There are a lot of leadership programs that are very conceptual. Atas konsep banyak, framework, tapi you need to know how to implement the framework. And the frustration I have with a lot of participants is when they attend the program, they come back, they cannot implement. How many of you know what I mean? There's also something to look out for, is the implementation, the details of it. Yeah. So, and if the lacking of the leaders is below, which is more the mindset, which is more the transformation, the shifting the mind, don't get stuck in the rut waiting for the normal to come back, don't that mindset shift, and that's the problem that we have a lot of lately, especially the last 1.5 years. People are still waiting to go back to normal, but now we're in the new normal. How is your mindset shifting to that? If it's more that, then you need to work with leadership coaches that know how to coach the thinking. That's why our focus is also below the waterline. Notice today I talk a lot about kat bawah air yang tak nampak. So that is where the greatest change come from. Yeah, so I hope that's useful. The next one is in August. Please save the date, 5th of August.
Okay.
Oh, this is a very big one. Good. 5th of August, please save your date and please invite more friends to come. Anybody that is a manager, business owner, struggling with what to do with their people, just come in. SHRDC is doing such a great job with providing all this community education to all the leaders that are very exhausted and frustrated now. So please capitalize on this. So we will leave the rest for the next session. Thank you.
So how was it, everyone? Did you enjoy and learn something new today? We hope you find the webinar beneficial and informative. Thank you for sitting through until the end of the webinar session with us. If you like what you have experienced today and want to join in from our sessions, do not forget to like and follow our social media channels. Simply search SHRDC on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter, as all of our programs are regularly updated there. We will include the links to these pages in the description box below. Feel free to connect with us today or visit our website at www.shdc.org.my. Thank you, and we hope to see you again.